Hello and welcome to Cooking for the Family. It looks like I already have a late start on the video, but that's okay because I can just explain everything that's in the pot. If you go to Costco or Walmart or any other grocery store, you might get yourself a rotisserie chicken. What do you do with the bones? Well, I'm going to tell you. You make a soup out of them. So you put the carcass in the water. I've added some bay leaves, celery salt, garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper, just a basic mix. If you don't have all fresh ingredients, that's why you can get the powders because it's cheaper. We got struggle meals up here. So we're just going to stir this around every now and then. Maybe got to sit for a couple hours until all the nice juices and nutrients come out of the carcass, and you'll have yourself a super rich, flavorful chicken broth. And you can use that for a lot of things. You can use that for just a chicken soup. Well, what we're doing today is we're making a potato soup. It also makes a really good base for a pot roast, which is going to be another episode I'm hoping to make. But yeah, let's check on this in a few hours. Okay, we are back, and our soup stock is ready to go. So, what we have here is a strainer on another pot so that it catches all of the soup broth. So I'm gonna cut this out and I will film back once all the broth is in the pot. Okay, so the carcass has been strained. Here are the remains over here. Yucky looking. But this is what is created. Look at, do you see how dark and rich this broth is? This doesn't compare to Campbell's or any of your other store-bought soups. This is the real deal, man. You put a little bit of lemon juice in that, that'll cure any cold. Like I said before, this is the base for a lot of recipes I'm going to be doing. Like your pot roast is one of my favorite. We're not really big soup eaters around here, so we do make a thicker soup, which is the potato soup, and that's what we're making today. If you want to get started on your bacon bits, we have an air fryer, which we use for the bacon bits. But if you want to do it quickly, you can just chop up your bacon into small pieces and then fry it on a pan. I find that works a lot quicker than just doing a normal pan frying, because it's smaller and a lot of that fat is able to render quickly. And yeah, I just dump it right into the soup after. I used to sprinkle it on top, but I don't anymore because not everybody gets an even amount of bacon, and everybody loves bacon. Okay, so I'm going to cut to when the potatoes are all done. Okay, so we have our potato peel and chop station over here. The objective is to peel all the skins into this bowl, dump it out. Then we're going to chop the potatoes so that they cook faster in the soup. It also helps when you're blending it up. When it comes to adding the amount of potatoes, I like to just eyeball it. Take your potato and just kind of do an eyeball judgment on, how much of it you think you're going to need. You're going to want a little bit more broth than potatoes because that's what keeps it soupy. Trust me, through my trial and error, I've added too many, and then you're just left with mashed potatoes. So let's get peeling. I'm going to peel them up, and then I'll show you how small I chopped them, and we're going to add it right back into the soup. Turn this back on and let it boil. Okay, so I have, I think about 8 potatoes peeled here, something like that. And, all potatoes come in different sizes, so just eyeball it. This is cooking with the heart, not really a recipe sort of thing you can write down. I could say put 8 potatoes in and you could have too many or too less. So just eyeball it until, you can start to see them piling up below the surface. You might have too many, but that's okay. There's lots of other things you can do with potatoes. No. So let's chop these up and let's see how many it takes to add in until we have the perfect amount. Okay, so if you're wondering how to cut a potato for a soup like this, sorry, my camera is horrible. I just have a phone leaned up against the bag. Just gonna chop down the middle. And if your knife's a little dull like mine, that's okay. You're just going to start from the base here, slide it down. And it works kind of like a razor blade. And then, just
turn it around and slice, 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 slice. Potatoes, they're really forgiving. And this is supposed to be nice and chunky because you're going to be breaking it down anyways, so just do the same over here. Boom, boom, boom. And you have a whole potato cut up. So, that's right. So now we're just going to take this cutting board and we'll just add it right into the soup. Sorry, not good at multitasking here. Luckily I peeled just the right amount of potatoes. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's about 3/4 of the way full of potatoes, leaving about 1/4 of soup resting on top of the potatoes, if that's the right way to explain it. You want to have a little extra soup broth because once the steam starts to bellow in, you're going to lose some of the water in your soup. And I don't really like adding water. I don't know why, but you do lose some of the flavor as you continue to add water because so much of it is inside the potatoes when they boil. So it does water it down in a way, but it doesn't. It's kind of hard to explain. So I think that's why it's important to find that sweet spot when you're cooking this. Anyways, let's move on to the bacon. I'll show you how I cut it. Okay, I got some Snyder's Classic Cut bacon. You can't go wrong with this stuff. They smoke it right. It's fair thickness. I like using this for breakfast or recipes or whatever over all the other brands because I trust it. So let's open this up. We're going to cut the whole thing because it does shrink quite a bit. And once it's cooked, we're going to add it to the soup. Okay, I wish I had a better way to angle my camera to sort of show you this. So we have the whole slab of bacon here on my cutting board. And what I like to use is a special knife, a bread knife. I'm asking why a bread knife? Because it's serrated. And you know, your best bet with bacon is to let it thaw out just a little bit after pulling it out of the freezer. Today I didn't do that. A lot of people keep their bacon in the fridge for easy access. But when it's thawed out like this, it is really difficult to cut into it with a normal chef's knife. So the serrated edges actually allow me to cut through the fibers a lot easier than with a chef's knife. Look at that. Came off like nothing. Now if I were to use a chef's knife, right, it isn't the same. See, I still got pieces here still attached. I've been doing this for a while, so I can use a chef's knife if my bread knife isn't in the dishwasher. Or my bread knife is in the dishwasher, so I'll put this aside and wash this up. And we're just gonna go boom, 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 boom. Look how quickly that's just shredding through this bacon. No problem. And you know what the best part is? I swear they never get dull, ever. Look at that. All my bacon is all cut up. It's ready to go. You might look at this and you might think, wow, this doesn't look very small. I didn't cut it from all angles, but the thing is when you put it on the frying pan, it's going to shrink, right? So you account for that shrinkage with a little bit bigger pieces of bacon bits, and you have a really nice bite of bacon every single time. So now that my bacon is all cut up, let's put it on the frying pan and I can give you an example of how quickly this cooks in comparison to just putting it flat in the pan. Look at this. We got our scraps all here, a mix of all of our carcass and our potato, our soup's cooking, and our bacon's on. Everything's coming together really easily. So the whole purpose of this channel is for families who are on a budget. They just found a couple things on sale and I don't know how to cook it. What am I supposed to do? Lately bacon's been very cheap. We've been getting it for under $5 here. And that's a whole meal, right? Potatoes, we got a whole bag of them for $2. And rotisserie chicken happened to be on sale too. So this whole meal, you think about it, this is under $15 at least to feed the whole family. And I'd say this would feed a family of 5, no problem. We're talking Canadian dollars here. Family of 5, $15. I'd call that a steal. And it's so easy. This is one of those things that you just, very little prep work, got what? Peel a couple potatoes, cut some bacon up, slap a carcass in the pot with some water. Taking about, I don't know, let's say 15 minutes of prep time, and all the rest of it's really just sit back, watch it all be cooked. Anyways, I have the stove set to about a 6, which is just like a medium high for the bacon. I don't like it ripping hot. I find it burns the bacon too quickly and it doesn't let the fat render. Basically frying it in its own fat. So when you got the fat render, it turns into more of an, well, fat, but it's like more like an oil. And then it fries it up all nice and crispy, which is what you want. Extra crispy before you plunge it into the soup. So we're gonna just, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna stir this around just because I like to do this. You could leave this be on a heat this low if you had to attend to something. It's not so ripping hot you're gonna burn your house down. But for me, I like to sit here and move it around. So I will cut back to when this is all fried up and we will move on to blending the soup up. Exciting. Okay, we are back about 10 minutes into cooking this bacon. Maybe less, maybe 7 minutes, but this is an entire pack of bacon, and this looks exactly the way I want it. So I'm going to cut back after I strained it. You're going to want to use a metal strainer. Do not use a plastic strainer because the heat coming off of the fat will probably melt it, and then you might burn your house down. So let's strain this off into a metal container with a metal strainer, and I will cut back. Okay, my wife is going to kill me with little dishes. But yeah, here's your bacon bits. Look at that. Wow. Delicious. Now it's going to keep a nice crispy texture when you do toss that into the damp soup. So you get a nice bite with every spoonful. Okay, beautiful. So I guess next on our list is blending this up. So let's get to it. Okay, so if you want to check and see if your potato soup is ready to be blended, I would take a knife and I would just poke one of these potatoes here and, press it up against the pot. If it starts to fall apart like that, then you know that it's cooked all the way through. So you know it's nice and soft. Okay, so this is ready to be blended up. We are going to put this over to the side so it's not on a hot burner and blend it up. Okay, so I got my hand mixer here. You're probably wondering, why do I have it corded around my oven? That's because last time I plugged it in here, it fell on my burner. You can probably see the stain over here a little bit. And it melted, and the house smelled like burnt plastic for weeks. So another thing about this, when it's really hot, it can splash in your face, and you don't want that. So if you want to wait for it to cool down a little bit before you do this, or maybe transfer it into a bigger pot to make it easier, that's completely up to you. So if I scream during this, then that's because I just got burnt with sizzling hot potato water. Okay, 3, 2, 1. There we go. So I'm going to cut this, and then I will come back when it is all blended. Okay, that's great. Look at all that. So yeah, that's kind of the texture you're looking for. See, it's nice and thick. Stir that around. It's up to you. Be creative with your soups. You can add some cream to it if you want, or some milk to give it some extra lift. I keep it the way it is. Sometimes I add a little bit just to flare things up or tone things down a little bit. So now we're just gonna put all the bacon in there, and we're just gonna fold that into the soup, and then the whole soup's just gonna taste like a big pierogi, which is just awesome. Just gonna do like that. Beautiful. And at this point, it's ready to serve. If you're dairy free and you don't like milk or cream and you can't put cheese on it, that's fine. Over here, we do put some cheese on it. I like marble cheese. I think it really takes it to a whole new level. So let's serve this up and try it. Yeah, lots of cheese. Okay, so this is it here. Look at that. Awesome. gonna get you a bowl in a second, okay? So I already know what this tastes like. So I'll take a bite on camera because you know every bowl tastes a little different. Because like I said, it's an eyeball measurement. Let's see how this one turned out. Phenomenal. You cannot go wrong with cheese, potatoes, and bacon, no matter what kind of combination you do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to see more recipes like this, let me know.